All right, you guys, we need to talk about the secret lives of Mormon wives because the internet is on fire and the cast is basically at war. Jessi hopped online calling people out, Fruity Pebbles has finally been decoded, and even if you haven't kept up with the show, the off-screen chaos is absolutely insane. So let's break down everything the cast and the fandom are talking about right now. Quick refresher. The last time we covered the Mormon wives drama, we were deep in season 2, specifically that completely unhinged Vanderpump Villa trip. That single visit to Italy basically carried the entire season's storyline. During that trip, Jen accused Day of acting flirty with Vanderpump Villa's Marciano. Day denied it, but Marciano later claimed the flirting absolutely happened. Then, at the end of season 2, Marciano dropped a whole plot twist. Not only did he flirt with Day, but he said he hooked up with Jessi, who is married. Jessi had spent earlier episodes denying she even kissed the man, but right after the season wrapped, people noticed she stopped wearing her wedding ring. That's when the theories kicked into overdrive about whether Marciano was telling the truth. There was also that second layer of drama involving Day allegedly trying to get Jessi removed from the show for a bigger paycheck. And then she was exposed for secretly warning Taylor not to go to Jessi's salon, which hit hard because Day and Jessi were supposed to be best friends. So hearing her talk that way behind the scenes obviously didn't scream loyal friend. Then came the season 2 reunion, which Day skipped to go to Disneyland, and the girls showed up with receipts, screenshots, and even a voice memo that made everything 10 times worse for her. Jessi, Isla, and Michaela were all in Italy for the Vanderpump Villa trip, and they said Day absolutely came across as flirty with Marciano, so much so that people were asking her whether her husband would be okay with how it looked. Their take was that he definitely wouldn't be. At the reunion, Jessi brought messages pulled from Marciano's phone, texts between him and Day. The women gagged at what was in those messages, saying there was no way Day's husband had any idea and that the tone of the texts didn't sound like something a married woman would send. But Whitney defended Day, saying she didn't like how the group was treating her. Everyone clapped back immediately, reminding her that Day had been accused of trying to push Jessi out of the show in season 2, allegedly talking contracts behind the scenes and floating the idea of replacing Jessi so she herself could earn more. Again, these two were supposed to be best friends. If you're negotiating a higher paycheck by getting your bestie axed from the cast, it's not going to make you look great. Then there was the claim that Day sent a cease and desist to Zach and Jen to stop them from talking about her interactions with Marciano during the Italy trip, which also became a major talking point at the reunion. And just when you thought it couldn't get more chaotic, season 3 dropped and everything exploded all over again. Season 3's storyline focused heavily on the tension between Jessi and Day. Jessi actually admitted on the show that she had an emotional affair with Marciano during a rough point in her marriage. She described her relationship dynamic at the time as toxic and said the whole situation ended up being a wake-up call. She and her husband have since been in couples therapy. As for Day and Marciano, Day alleged on the show that Marciano touched her inappropriately while they were in Italy. She has repeatedly denied being flirty, insisting what happened was unwanted and that she felt violated by the interaction, regardless of how it looked from the outside. Marciano has denied her account and has claimed everything between them was consensual. What complicated things further was the fact that Day continued exchanging messages with Marciano after the alleged incident, even following him and DMing him. Marciano pointed to this to challenge her version of events. Season 3 showed the cast splitting into 2 camps. Some of the women questioned Day's story, saying what they witnessed in Italy didn't match what she was now saying. Others, especially Whitney, urged the group to give Day grace, acknowledging how complicated trauma and consent can be. And then this week, Lisa Vanderpump herself commented publicly, defending Marciano and saying she has seen the footage. Cast members immediately reacted. Jen commented, "And I was the pathological liar." Michaela added, "Will this nightmare ever end? Let's see the footage and move on." Day then appeared to respond by posting, "Jessi's somewhere punching air right now, that Lisa is talking about me and not her." Then Jessi jumped onto Instagram stories and finally spilled the meaning of Fruity Pebbles.
Oh, I categorically know what happened because we have cameras everywhere and I've seen every ounce of the footage. So I think when the women are doubting her, I think they've got very good reason. Any allegations against Marciano, I have the luxury of having all the footage.
If you remember season 1, Day told the girls a very not safe for work story about her and her husband Brett. Later, Whitney brought it up again on the show, describing the situation in a way that made it sound intense. And apparently, the phrase Fruity Pebbles referred to the flavor involved in whatever went down. Fans were left to make their own guesses as to what exactly happened, as they didn't just flat out say it, but they were definitely hinting that something crazy went down. And well, Jessi was fully telling the story of what that was. The MI saw a repost of her response and commented, "I thought she took a break from social media. Good to know. This is all it took to have that fame come crawling back." Like I said, punching air. Jessi then posted the comment on her Instagram story and said,
"I don't know about you guys, but I'm loving this Demi crash out era right now. Her saying something like this is laughable because genuinely would never be jealous of someone saying these things that Lisa's saying about her. She got caught on camera, she knows it, and she's trying to backtrack. So since she wants to be petty and be an asshole, I think I'm just going to go ahead and say that Grandpa Brett likes to drink her gets dirty soda and he gulps it down like water, and that's what Fruity Pebbles is."
Day, I think you're the one who needs a break from socials now. Time to ship off to the loony bin. And as Day has recently insinuated that the show is more heavily scripted than it lets on, Jessi let her thoughts be known on a recent Instagram story, writing, "Honey, just because you script yourself doesn't mean our show is scripted. This behavior level of delusion and downward spiral should be studied." Later, Day admitted to what Jessi said to be true on her Instagram story and wanted to acknowledge things, writing, "What my husband and I did one time behind closed doors was a consensual and private experience in our marriage. I won't let a private act between my husband and I be a distraction from a serious act that I did not consent to." I share this information with Jessi in confidence nearly 2 years ago. It's very telling that she's choosing to break storyline and bring it up now only after her own affair has come to light. This is nothing more than a desperate attempt to shift attention away from her own behavior. Jessi replied to this and said, "I love a good PR written statement. Shift attention away from what exactly? I have been the only one between the two of us to actually face my story head on and share the details. I'm not hiding from a damn thing. You're the one hiding, sweetheart, and everyone can see it." And basically what she's trying to say there is that I admitted that I stepped outside of my marriage with Marciano, and is claiming that Day will not acknowledge what she did with Marciano and is instead coming out with these accusations against him. Now, in response to Day calling out Jessi for talking about the Fruity Pebbles, Jessi reposted a comment that someone said about this whole thing, writing, "If this is so private and intimate, then why the constant Fruity Pebbles jokes, videos, costumes, and brand deals regarding it over the past year?" Basically calling out the fact that Day has posted people wearing Fruity Pebbles costumes or the Fruity Pebbles cereal box on her Instagram story and just made this a whole big joke, and is now saying that this is a private, intimate thing that Jessi just exposed. Now later, Jessi took to her Instagram story and said, "Also, Day's upset that I'm outing her bedroom activities when she took my affair to production to leverage more money. Seems fair." And she kept coming for Day and threw some shade at Day once, telling people not to go to her salon, and shared that this is her new plate, bad hair. She also said, "Thanks for the idea, Day." Jessi then goes on to explain why she's going so hard on her Instagram story. And just to top it all off, she wanted to go back to the Fruity Pebbles of it all and said why they called it that in the first place.
You guys, I'm being petty as hell today, and I know it. I usually try to rise above this, but she's pushed me too far today. My stories today are for the people who have ever had friendships like this one, to the girls or the boys who have ever had a friend who intimidates them, who bullies them, who gaslights them, who puts themselves on a pedestal above you. I have been there. I have had so many friendships like this. I tend to attract it, and I'm doing inner work to see why, but she is the last friend I will ever have like this, and I'm standing up for myself because it has been 2 years of this ridiculous behavior, and I'm calling her out, and I'm feeling petty, and sorry, messy Jessi.
Now, as for Marciano, he's still defending himself and strongly denying the allegations brought against him from Day.
I don't think I made it clear enough in my story why they call that Fruity Pebbles. And I've gotten a lot of questions about that. So it's because it apparently tastes like Fruity Pebbles, which I'm not going to yuck your yum, but that's weird. But also I just want to say that like there's so much history here. Obviously I'm fed up for a reason. There are things in the reunion you will see hopefully of like why I feel the way I do. She did something to me that I feel is unforgivable and was like super insensitive, and hopefully you will see that play out when the reunion airs in just a few days. But yeah, if I end up with Brett driving by my house tonight or them trying to break in and kill me, you know who did it.
He insists that he never touched Emmy and says the accusations are extremely damaging to his career, mental health, and reputation. He pointed out that Vanderpump Villa is heavily filmed with cameras positioned throughout the property, and he says that he feels confident that the footage will prove his innocence.
Sorry to me, but this is nothing you should be playing with. This is my real life. And with that being said, let's fast forward to yesterday. I did a collab post with Heather McDonald about a podcast we were dropping. She decided to become fully unhinged and go off in the comments. She proceeded to say, I privates, which obviously never happened, and of course is the first time she is ever mentioning privates. It's hilarious how her story continues to change. It's impossible to keep up with at this point. She then goes back and forth in the comments, now saying I have a criminal record. Like, what the f is this girl even talking about? I literally got arrested one time in my whole life when I was 19 years old for disorderly conduct because I punched a street sign while I was leaving a bar. Mind you, that was 13 years ago and I've never been in trouble outside of that. Does that sound like I have a criminal record? She then says I deleted the comment, but like I said, this was a collab post where I wasn't able to delete the comments. This girl is literally grasping at anything to try and fix the mess she has created for herself.
He also added that Day took personal attacks to a new level by allegedly bringing up his late father in online comments, which he said was deeply hurtful. And he also revealed that he is planning to take legal action against her in response to the accusations. This whole situation is just so insane.
Let's get to the worst part. She then goes on to attack my dead father. She commented, was your daddy this big of a pussy? And then says he's looking down on me, disappointed and embarrassed with the person I have become. Okay, so now this is where I draw the You can attack me, make lies up about me, slander and defame me on TV or the internet, but you come at my father, who is no longer alive, is beyond sickening. Like, what kind of a human are you to stoop so low to attack someone who is deceased? And she is really showing the whole world what kind of a person she really is. I cannot wait to make this girl regret every lie she has ever told. After I get done with dealing this whole situation legally, I promise you guys we will never have to see this girl on TV ever again. I will be sure she does not get away with this behavior and never does this to anyone.
And people honestly just want the footage to be out there so we can know what happened in Vanderpump Villa. Multiple people are saying that there's footage. The cast of Mormon Wives wants the footage. I just can't believe all of this was going down on Instagram stories. Then Hulu decided to say that season 4 would be coming out soon. Like, seriously, the drama does not end with these ladies. And in season 4, we're still probably going to be talking about Marciano and Day and Jessi, which is just wild. But I want to know what you guys think about all of this. Have you been paying attention to the Mormon Wives and everything that is being said here? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys!